Hey everybody, it's Jeff here. Today I'm in my bathroom. I'm converting a 2 to a 3 piece at my church flip just so we can get an occupancy permit, okay, to max out my dollar when I put it on the market. I'm installing the shower kit today, and I'm installing this particular shower kit because I've been wanting to for a long time show you guys a really affordable alternative to making a shower. Today we are working with the shower pan that was installed in another video. We'll put the link in the description for you if you need to see how that's done. But we're putting in polystyrene wall kit. It's a 3-piece wall kit. We're going to show you the right products, the right technique. We're going to show you how to install all the door kit because this particular kit from Max is one of my favorite shower installations. I've done about 30 of these in my career. Catch up to speed with our instructions. Why do I feel like I'm lost? Let me just check the instructions. Where's the rest of it? Where's the instructions? Are they calling? That's about as easy as it bloody well gets. Keep us on our toes. And there's a reason why I choose this every single time, because it has great water diversion and it doesn't rely on all the sealants that a lot of other kits rely on. So there's a lot more room for error for you as an installer and still get a great shower that's not going to go to mold down the road. So let's just jump right into this. We're going to go open up the box, take a look at the products, get organized, and then we'll walk you through the steps. There. Pivot to the wall. I'm good with that. Cool. Yeah, it was sketchy, but we're fine. Everybody survived. All right, let's just take a look at the components. We opened this up earlier because the shower pan came with the kit. So did the instructions. And always read the instructions, guys, before you go doing anything. Make sure you got the right tools on you and the process figured out in your head. And you aren't going to have any obstructions in the way. Like you'll see as you go through life, instructions save your bacon. All right, so read them. We've got U-channels. And in my experience, these go against the wall. And then these glass panels slide into them. So that's great to have. Here's the first piece. The first piece of the polystyrene kit. Here's one of the glass panels. Now I read the instructions already, and I know from history that these are interchangeable, all right? They come with protective tips, little plastic covers. Let's get the other one out of here. Always lots of packaging, right? And then we've got the door. Nice and easy to work with. Comes pre-drilled. All you've got to do is stick it in the right place at the right time. We're good to go. Here's the hardware. Make sure when you're taking something like this apart, you don't just go, okay, let's go, oh, this is garbage, and throw out your hardware kit. That'll drive you nuts. Looks like junk. Door hardware. Be careful. It's not like they put it in a box and label it for you, okay? Here are the 2 back walls. And in this box are all the other trims, gaskets and seals and all the other stuff we're gonna need. Plus, this kit comes with one single aluminum rail to tie the sidewalls together to make it all work, which means it's really easy to install. A lot of shower kits out there have got a hard plastic cap. You got to screw through the top into the framing that comes with the glass doors. It'll drive you nuts. This is an easy installation. You're going to want to see this happen. Now, the first step in this procedure is to take the panel in because we have to actually mark up where it gets installed before we can move forward, okay? Let's take a look and realize they are actually shipping this together with tape. That's gonna have to go. Wow. Only one panel at a time. I didn't bring my knife with me. Nope, I'm gonna need a knife. Whoa! Hello, gorgeous. Stay there. Now it's important to note here, these products come with a protective coating on one side, all right? Let me just identify this for you. You need to identify which side the protective coating is on. All right, here it is. Found it, all right? Protective coating. That makes this the surface you want to see in the shower. This goes against the wall. So the fact that there's adhesive from that tape on here means nothing. Let's just go get started. Here's the installation process. 1, take a square, set it on the ground. And trust me on this, you're going to be wanting to paint the room after you're done. These pencil lines are going to be visible. You want to take a tape measure, set it to anywhere you want. I like to cheat and just go to a full inch. Measure in 7/8. Bam, that spot. What we're going to do is they tell you to pull out a great big level, and then when you install this, you install it on that line. We're going to use the laser line because what this line represents, right here is where the glass goes. Okay, and then you have a U-channel. So this line represents the end of this polystyrene and the U-channel sits right on it. And then you can put a decorative seal of caulking on the outside when you're finished. What I like to do is make my life simple. I like to install my panel right here on that line, like that. Now the panel itself, watch this, at the very bottom, it's going to sit right down on this ledge. And in a perfect world, everything is all nice and level and square, but if it's not, we're going to make a minor adjustment. There we go. Here's my panel. This is my finish side. You have to leave the plastic on. Now you got to find a little bit of room to play here, all right? So let's go back out to the big room. So when you're working with polystyrene, you need to understand a couple of things. One, it takes a specific set of adhesives and sealants to make this kit work. You can't get creative. Now you can glue this panel to some surfaces with different adhesives, but there is a kit on the market designed specifically for this, okay? This is in the caulking department over at the Home Depot. It's not in the kitchen and bath department. You won't find it there, all right? What this is a 2-in-1 tub and shower surround kit. It has the adhesive and it has the sealant that goes on the outside after everything's installed to close up the joints where they intersect, okay? Every system you install requires the two different products. So let's take a look at them. PL700. I did a video and I talked about all the different caulkings, okay? PL700 bonds just about anything to anything. So drywall, painted, unpainted, tile surfaces, it doesn't make a difference. You can put this polystyrene just about anything with this adhesive. The 700 series also has the flexibility and the capacity to be cleaned up afterwards with mineral spirits, okay? It's not dangerous like a PL Premium, which you never want to use in your house once you have finished flooring. Because if you ever have an accident with that stuff and you don't notice you made a mess, within 24 hours, whatever it's on, it's not coming off. There is no cleaner on the market to get PL Premium off, so use the 700 as an adhesive. And then you've got 2-in-1 seal and bond. And I've used this before. Did a video where I showed people how to put on drywall waterproofing system and then use this on the joints to get waterproofing, because it works. And it basically makes your shower wall just like this polystyrene system, and then you tile. But in this case, 2-in-1 is used on the exterior to get a seal. Now, if you live in the United States, Lepage is not a company you're gonna find. Good news, all of this is available in the same kit from Loctite. These two companies, I think, are owned by the same guy. Now, bum, 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 bum. Holy cow. Here we go. We're going to show you how to do this. They recommend that you put this bead near the edge, but not on the edge. Okay? I like to leave about a full inch. All right? Now remember at the bottom, this reached past the drywall, and this goes all the way down to the pan. But there are different thicknesses in this situation there. So you don't have to worry about your adhesive going all the way to the bottom. On the back of the panel, all right, just on the surface later. And we're gonna get all this done like this, okay? What that does is it gives it a seal. Now, water doesn't have any ability to get behind that panel, but we're looking for adhesion as well. We want the panel to be nice and smooth. And so you wanna put this stuff everywhere, okay? That's plenty. Now, just for good measure, you can do this, okay? And you can trowel this. Use a little V-notch trowel. This is an old one that I have. All right, and this will help avoid it squeezing out the sides when you put it in. This is going to give you a lot more control for the next step, which generally speaking is a little bit messy, okay? Back to the shower. Being careful not to get your fingers on the adhesive. It's kind of like hanging wallpaper, guys. We're just going to gently slide it down to where that mark is. And we're going to follow the laser line. Make sure that the corners are making contact. You don't want to have this inside the shower. I'll take that. And then we need this tool. This is the Grout Float. And this is why we leave the plastic on, okay? So use a Grout Float. Press that adhesive into the wallboard. Okay, and then what we do is we peel it away and activate it. And see how it gets all stringy there? And we just want to give this a couple of minutes. And we just stand here and wait. Smells amazing. We just wait a couple of minutes because that is basically, it's an oxidation program going on here. This is what gives you the superior bond, okay? Now, we're gonna go back up. We're gonna get everything back on that laser line. Okay. You have a couple of minutes to play around with this. It's not super strong right out of the gate, okay? We're gonna take our Grout Float, Now we're really gonna press that in. There's another tool you can use if you don't have a grout float. If you're in the flooring business, you could have a 6-inch little hard roller, a little rubber roller. It works as well. The whole secret here is to put some pressure on there. Whew. Now we're done. Now we take the plastic off. This is the key. The number one reason why these things fail, well, number two. One is use the wrong sealant. Number two is they install the middle before they take the plastic off. You don't get a seal if you do that. All right, instant shower wall. So, same thing, guys. We're gonna measure in 7/8. That's my spot. Drop my laser line on there. Love it. Now, another thing we have to do, because this is the fun side, this is where we have the control for the shower, right here. So what I have to do is I have to measure to the middle of this screw. From the bottom and from my laser line. Okay, we need these measurements. So we're gonna do it like this. And the laser line actually shows up on the tape, which makes this easy. So we're gonna just call that 17.5. Okay, and then from the bottom, we're going down to the lip where we expect this to finish. Up to my screw, call it 39. And the reason we can be kind of close here is right here. I'll show you this. So I've got all my toys here for working. You know, at first glance, I was like, this will work. Because I only need a little hole, okay? But you'll see that this little fixture, when I get rid of the guard, you see this little hole here and this hole here? These are 2 threaded screw holes. And the finished trim goes on the wall and those 2 screws that set on there to tighten everything up. So I need to have a hole that's big enough in that diameter. And this one would probably do it, but man, it would have to be just measured perfect. And remember how we're putting this on this line? And this doesn't have to be perfectly level. I can't guarantee before I install this where my hole is gonna end up because of square issues, okay? So what I wanna do is make a bigger hole. To do that, we want to have this. Here's the trim kit, all right? Here's the 2 screws that I was talking about. And here's the kit. It has a gasket here. Basically seals up against this extension, okay? That works great. And this gasket here is designed to go all around the wall. And this is designed so if any water gets in behind it, it can drain out, okay? So your water doesn't creep up and then come through the hole. So to make my life easy, I'm gonna go with a big hole. Why not? Look how much room I have left to play with. I've got a full inch all the way around. Even if I'm out of square down there, I'm talking 1/8, maybe 1/4 if it's really dramatic. So this will work. So when in doubt, make it bigger than what you need. If you don't have hole saws, you can actually use a knife and you can cut a square with a utility knife, all right? I'm gonna use a hole saw. Love this kit from Milwaukee. You thread it in. Don't go all the way to the end though. Back it up a couple threads. Push the pins in. Now it won't lock on you. It's easy to get back out. All right, so we got our hole saw, we got our measurements. We're gonna go translate that information on the next panel and then we're gonna cut it. And then we'll bring it in and do the same thing with the adhesive. So 17.5 is around here. We're gonna go 39, 17.5. Now I can do this with a marker because this is the plastic that peels off. So don't get too worried about it. There's my center line. All right, now here's a great point. Now that you've done this, go back and double check your measurement. You only get to cut this once. And if you think you can just pop back to the store and get another panel because you messed this up, you're wrong. You're gonna have to custom order it. It's gonna take 2 to 3, maybe 6 weeks. It'll drive you crazy not being able to finish your project. So I went 17.5, 39. Let me just double check. I'm gonna use this underneath so that when I drill my hole, I'm not drilling through my flooring. You can actually look through the hole on the saw. Make sure that you put the pin right on the right spot. You should be able to see what you're doing, okay? So I can see what I'm doing. All right, beautiful. Let's drill. Nice and easy. Oh yeah. Make sure that it's loose before you pull it out. All right. Now, same thing, we're going to turn it over and we're going to put adhesive on in the same manner, okay? Now, if you're doing a 5-piece shower surround, and they sell these in 5 pieces for you, so you get 3 full walls and then 2 corners, you'll need the whole kit. If you're doing a 3-piece like I am, you only really need probably 2 tubes, right? It's close. Regardless, if you use more or less, it depends on the user. You can buy each of these products individually. You don't have to buy them in the kit, okay? So if you need more, don't panic. You don't need to buy another whole kit. You can just go get just the tube that you need. Now, everything here is the same, except in this situation, we want to waterproof this as well. All right, and then we want to fill in a little bit on the interior. All right, and again, the instructions tell you to do the combing. If you're going to put a big bead on, it makes sense because it just gets too thick, okay? And what you'll end up doing is when you put it on the wall, you'll try to like use the Grout Float to smooth it all out, but by then it's too late. So this really works well. Lots of guys, and I've installed them like this before when I was younger, didn't read the instructions to the fullest. I don't even know if they asked for us to do this back in the days. But we would just put the bead on relatively thin and tight, and then use the Grout Float to smear it in. And we would call it one and done. Nowadays, you know, if you got the right trowel, do the right process, it's not gonna hurt anybody, right? Whew. Let's go hang this, pull it off the wall again. Boom, 2 pieces down. So once again, here we are on the floor, following the red line. Get rid of the extra tape. Bugger. Making sure that I'm inside and activate it. All right, and then we just wait a couple minutes. Oh, once you smell it, then you know it's activated. You'll get a real staunch vinegary kind of smell. There you go. Mission accomplished. Let's get it roughly where it's supposed to be. Remember, this stuff has a great workability factor, okay? So let's get on the line. Let's check our gap. I'm really tall here. Let's bring this down. I don't want to be tall if I don't have to be. Okay, the less I want to have to rely on sealants, the better. There we go. That's on the line really good. Just a quick note. Keep an eye on this. If you end up getting adhesive squeezing out, you can clean it up with mineral spirits, but you don't want to get it on your float, okay? So just be aware of what's going on at all times. Lots of pressure. Don't be afraid to call this work. Okay, especially if you're going over tile, because it'll be more uneven. Use a thicker bead of that adhesive as well if you're doing over tile. This is a great way to take an old shower wall and waterproof it with an exterior finish. It doesn't have to be over drywall. All right, okay. Oh, you bugger, come on. It's that tape causing me a problem now. You really want to get this sorted out before you go too far, because now you can't use the Grout Float. So just press it back in. Okay? Remember, this is clean. It's a polystyrene, a plastic product. So you don't want to use anything abrasive on this ever again. Okay? Even when you're cleaning it, use soft soaps, mild rags. Don't use your filthy, dirty hands covered in construction dust to clean it in. You'll scratch it all up. Yep, learned that one the hard way. The next step is critical if you want to get a good result, okay? What they're calling for is adhesive on the side of the panels, because this should sit on the wall. The back is rounded out because, you know, whenever you do a taping joint, there's always a little bit of a buildup. But then they want you to also put sealant, a thick bead right here. Now here's the thing. When you go put this in, now you're gonna have to be really careful where you set this, right? And you want it to have it the same height right? So that's the finish. What happens if I pull this off and all that stringy stuff comes with it? And then you go put it back on and you're a little off, and now it's all over the walls. Remember, we had to take the plastic off in order to put this on here. We got a waterproofing problem. So what I'm gonna do is recommend this. This is a little cheat that I've got over the years. Get your painter's tape. I know I always use this when I'm not painting. What we're gonna do is we're gonna mark off inside the finish line with this, so that if we get any of that stringy stuff, after I set this the second time, I can just peel the tape off and the adhesive's removed from the scenario, okay? So let's get this in the corner. We're gonna like it there. And I'm not too worried about having it perfect, okay? I'm still gonna be using an adhesive sealant on the surface afterwards. I just don't wanna risk that 1 in 100 accident where you get the glue and it's stringy and then it peels up and it ends up slapping against the wall. I don't wanna spend hours cleaning this. I'd rather just take a few minutes and throw a little bit of tape on the wall, just for peace of mind. It helps, especially if it's your first time working with this adhesive. Takes a little getting used to know how much to use to get a good bond. And trust me, less is more. When you're using that adhesive, okay, it doesn't require a crazy thick bead to be effective. There, now I got my insurance policy. All right. Let me just grab the adhesive and we'll get that stuck in. I'm gonna be a little contrary to the instructions here. This is where experience is talking, right? When you're putting the adhesive on here, put the bead way over here, okay? And this bead should be thick enough that it's sitting prouder than the wall, okay? And then come back with just one line here and one line here. Okay, that's all you need. Don't go crazy with this stuff. So this bead here is designed, if you can see the wall panel, there's extra panel on the side of the tape. This is designed to seal this panel with this panel, okay? And that's like a secondary layer of waterproofing. And so it's very important, but just as important as waterproofing is making sure you don't get this adhesive all over the place. Don't be panicking, you're not in a hurry. There's a lot of setup time. With this product, there we go, we're gonna need a third tube after all. How about that? Pierce the end. Here we go. All right, now, I'm gonna grab it by the shelves. Okay, you're going to use the green tape as an eyeball aid, right? Rock it in place, lift it till it's level up here. The bottom gets a sealant, so everything else doesn't matter. Press that in where you want it. Put the pressure right on that joint where we put that bead, okay? This is the one that you want it to grab to activate. Now we're going to pull it out gently. Okay, let's take a look at this. Because here's our opportunity to realize if we have the adhesive in the right spot or not. Look at, I've got some contact, but I don't have a secondary waterproofing system here, do I? So what I'm going to do is, instead of following the instructions, I'm going to put a bead right here and make sure that I've got a good seal. Okay, this is the difference between a good install or a bad install that fails. Now, and take it one more time. Again, rock it back in. Use the tape as a guide. Get it where it belongs. Lift it up. Double check, activate that second level. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. Still not happy here. That bead wasn't thick enough. We're gonna fix that. And the rest of it had decent contact. Not here though. All right, get this back in. There we go. We got a good bond that time. Okay, we're just gonna give this a minute. It's getting good and stinky, but I wanna make sure that that new stuff also activates. And you've got up to 5 or 10 minutes before you put this back. It's still gonna bond, so don't worry about it. Lots of working time, very forgivable. Okay, let's put this back. Our focus here, of course, is at the top here. That's the visible part. And now we wanna make sure we're pushing like this, right? Make sure everything is bonded weirdly well. All right, get rid of our tape. I got a little bit here. At this point, you're gonna notice there's just a little bit of a gap. Little gap here, little gap there. It's not gonna be perfect. It's not supposed to be, that's fine. That's what this is for, okay? Once this is set up and dry for a little while, we're gonna come back after the rest of the shower install, and we're gonna use this to put that little bit of a sealant right there on the edge. And then that's it. So now we wanna move on to hang in the doors and the wall panel system. That'll be awesome. Let's jump right into that. So when you look at the instructions, you'll see that the mounting rails have got 2 different details. One is flat, one's got a curve. The secret here is that those glass panels we pulled out earlier have the other part of the metal that receives inside this channel. So this needs to be lined up right accordingly where this gap is here, because in this particular model, which is why I love it, the glass sits in these U channels. So the point is this. The reason we measure 7/8 over from the pencil, because that's where this thing starts. It actually sits right on it, and now it's lined up. That's crazy, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on that ledge, right on that corner. That's the height. Oh, and it's gonna be a close one, all right? Okay, use your foot, put some pressure on it, make sure it's on the ledge. Make sure it's touching the edge of that plastic, the polystyrene. Now, once you have it in position, take your marker and mark the center hole of 2 locations. And only 2. This is where the instructions get very specific to your situation. For me, I have wood behind this, and I know it because I pulled out the pan when I framed the wall to confirm I had wood everywhere I needed it. So I'm fine. So I'm just gonna pre-drill with 1/8, okay? And that makes it so that it's very easy to get the first couple screws through the polystyrene and everything else. And that's what we're doing. Boom. Just making sure that we got the hole in the right location. Now, when I put the first 2 screws in, I'm not gonna tighten them all the way. I'm gonna leave a little wiggle room, okay, in case I'm just a hair off. But it's a lot easier to set this up with the first 2 screws, leave them just a little loose so you can make minor adjustments, and then punch the last 2 holes in. Let's open up this little bag of love that they sent us. So these are drywall anchors. For whatever reason, they think that it might still be good practice to use drywall anchors to anchor your shower kit door. If you have to rely on drywall anchors, just stop. Just go backwards, all right? Watch this video, go, no anchors allowed. This is stupid. You're gonna have moving parts, okay? You're gonna have weight coming in and out. If you haven't seen it, I did a video on drywall anchors and how useless they are. We'll put that link in the description as well. Stop putting them in the bag, Max. No one should be using them. Just put the label. If you don't have wood, open up your wall and add it. It's that simple, okay? Door handle, door handle. Here we go. Then we'd find screws sooner or later. Finally, we found them. The door wall panel mounting screws. These should be 1 3/4. Yep, good. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna line this up, drop it in the hole. See the wiggle? Now that I'm here, I actually have the opportunity to get down way down here. Have a second look at my locking position. I'm good with that. You don't want to put too much pressure and twist it all, because the piece with the metal, the glass, you don't want to twist that one. Now, I'm going to suggest that they have 2 holes at the bottom and 2 holes at the top. That's for situations where you're using those stupid plugs, because they know how dangerous it is. If you're not using plugs, 3 screws is plenty. Let's just get this in the right spot. Quick pre-drill. You're going to want to hold your finger on the tip of the screw for this. Okay. Now we can grab the laser level just to confirm that everything's fine. Looks pretty darn consistent to me. Probably easier to check on the inside because there's no profile and it's nice and square. Oh yeah, now that makes more sense. Okay, good. Now, same for the other side. The reason I'm using pressure with my finger, the adhesive is still setting, right? So it will pull off the wall. We just want to be a little careful. Now for the fun part. Now we just bring in the glass panels, set them in position, and then we attach the front rail, and then we fix all the side panels once we get everything set right. Oh. Okay, so now we've got to take a look at these panels. You'll see the glass is actually wedged in with the rubber gasket into that U-channel. So it becomes one piece. They'll still operate independently to a certain degree. There is a frosting on this glass, and you can feel the edge right there. That makes it outside, okay? Inside you don't want the frosting, it's hard to keep clean. And in the bottom, you'll see a white notation, a little sticker in the bottom left corner near the metal. That is a stamp that says this is safety glass. We want to install these panels with the safety glass at the bottom. And because they're interchangeable, they can go just about anywhere. The key is set the corner of that inside the U-channel first, okay? And then you come down gently on the glass and then gently into place. All right, that is officially installed. Because you're in the U-channel and the 2 grooves down there, all right? You can go grab the next panel and get that one now. Here we are. Same thing. Safety glass, there's a pre-drilled hole. Interchangeable. Watch this. Pre-drilled hole, same location, but the sticker for the safety glass you want at the bottom. Now, in a perfect world, that's true, but check this out. The frosting here is, if I set this in, will be on the inside. So in order for me to put it on the outside, I've got to put the safety sticker up top. That's disappointing. But the frosting location is more important than that safety sticker. You know, there's so many pieces of tape everywhere, it's dangerous. Any one of those pieces of tape, if it's left attached to the metal, will allow water in between the tape and the metal, even if you add your sealant. So make sure you remove it first. I'm not sure why they're packing everything with tape. It's not necessary. There we go. Nice and easy. All right. Beautiful, we're getting somewhere now. Sometimes it can take a minute to understand the hardware, but understand the concept, it'll help out. You want to have a plastic grommet in your glass, okay? You don't want to risk metal ever touching it. So there are 2 specific plastic grommets here that are gray. Let me just run you through the assembly here real quick. All right, it forces it on there. Here we go. Here's the assembly. We have another bar that goes from here to here. This is going to go through all of this. And then this gray cap goes on from the other side to protect the glass. We will then put this grommet here from this side, and then it'll all get screwed together. That's a lot of little parts in one small area. So before I go any further, let's get this one on. Now we're gonna snap on, nice and easy. Oh, it just sits there. Well, that's easy. In the diagram, it shows you that the hole goes where the door hinges. So our door is gonna open this way, I believe, yeah. All right, here we go. Let's start with inside. This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna need 14 hands. All right. All right, we're gonna start with the grommet and this glass washer. And then I've got my threaded screw and my plastic piece. There we go. Yeah. All right, we'll throw them on the other side now. All right, here we go. Wow. Generally speaking, there's a slot on those back screws to hold it still. I'm gonna just go the slowest speed. My goal here is just to make this drill do 1 torque. Ooh, I feel resistance. I'm gonna stop there. Okay, this is not where you want to be aggressive. You don't want to, okay, give her hell, or you're going to just shatter the glass under the compression. You want it solid. Yeah, there's resistance. We'll call it a day. All right, on to the next step. This sits in the channel just fine. It's adjustable to a certain degree. Okay, so what happens is we'll put the hardware on the door, we'll drop it in, we'll lift it over, and then I'll bring it this way, bring it over, I'll drop this on, and then we'll bring it back into the door. And this goes inside of here for that door to hinge on. Before we go started, I have to have a set screw on here. I've got to back this out. This should be going in flush. There we go. Okay, so then we will set that set screw for that. There. Now we're not going to lose it. Good. Step 1. Okay, here's the screw that we need. There is an extra set screw in the bag. Congratulations, that's thinking ahead. Those always get lost. Again, I'm using my tape as my little hardware locator, okay? Now, I've got that, I've got that. Now I'm gonna take the other door hardware along with the instructions over to the glass panel and install the door. All right, here we go, guys. Again, it's safety glass, so it's not too much of a concern. We really just want to get all of this bloody tape and stickers off again. The side with the 2 holes goes up. All right, so again, because of this film, you want to find it. That makes this the outside. The outside of this assembly is the beautiful chrome part that everybody sees. Okay? Now, you want to keep your Allen key handy. You want to set this, because this acts like the glass grommet, and wiggle it all back and forth till it's nice and tight, and then you set your screw in, finger tight, until you feel it grab the threads. Nice and easy. Now you can take the Allen key. Gentle, you just want to go snug. Okay? And because it's machine thread, attached is like 1 finger with resistance. Okay? You don't want to muscle this on. If your door ever gets a little weak over time, these caps pop right off. This is the outside, so that means this will be my bottom. So just stick on the max cap so it's facing the right way. Makes it all look intentional, makes you look intelligent. We'll do the same to the other end. We will jiggle. That will be the top. The only thing left to do is to set these hinge pins that are sticking out about the same. And I've got the other one just a little bit past half. So if you go forward on the drill, it drives the pin towards you. There we go. Now that's done. Whoa, hey. All right, and this is where it gets precarious, right? Because what you have to do is find that pin, direct it into the hole, while holding everything at an angle and not letting the bottom hit the ground. Pinky on the glass, grab 2. Manage that situation, all right? Get it over and under. Okay, all right, now we're gonna set this on our little thing here, okay? We're gonna roll it into place. These are designed for those little chrome caps when we're all done. You're gonna want to use one of these for every screw that you can see. Line up the hole. There we are. You'll notice the hinge is in the wrong location. So I'm going to put the drill into that screw and I want to drive the pin towards me, and that was on forward. Or reverse from the outside, but that's a lousy angle. This is one of these situations where the chuck and the drill just create an issue. You can't get close enough to line up that screw, and because it's Phillips, if you don't go in there square, you're gonna strip it. I've already stripped the other side. So I'm on reverse now. I'm gonna hold this. This is my adjustable drill. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that here is just a little bit further away. I like that. And now the top is actually gonna drive back a little bit. Okay, let's check that one. We're just looking for the angle. So the idea here is to get this parallel so that the gasket works. This is not a perfect world, eh? Okay, we're getting really consistent there now. I'm liking that. It's close enough that we got to start working on the rest of this feature. And that is going to be, one, securing these two panels together from the inside, because right now it still moves around, right? And then second is getting all the gaskets on so that we get a good magnetic seal. All right, so before we can start messing around with that, we've got to attach these screws with these plastics and then with all the chromes. Snap, crackle, pop. That's it. And it just makes everything look very intentional. If you don't have a kit like this, get one, okay? They want a 3/32. I'm gonna use probably my short bit this time. I don't use the short bits very often. I don't have a need for a lot of clearance. And we're just pre-drilling. I'm gonna just get this started. And the secret when you're doing this, because you want to create resistance to this kind of motion when the door is opening, is drill on the inside of that screw hole on the frame. Right there. Now when you punch through, stop, because now you're through this side of that metal. You still have two more pieces of metal to drill through. You don't have to go that far. So we're going to take our little tiny Phillips bit and we're going to set it in that hole we pre-drilled and tighten that up. Woo! I'm going to stick a plastic cap on that. There you go. That's finished. We do the other 5 holes. And then we're going to adjust the rest of this. Now, do me a favor and learn from my mistakes. One time, years ago, I was doing this and I was following their advice. I was pre-drilling. I was using the wrong size hole. It was just a little bit too small. Because with 3/32, man, that is exactly what you need here. What happened is all these little screws, they sheared right on half. And I was what you would call screwed. I had to go across town to a special fastener store, line up new screws at the same depth that were wider, pre-drill new holes, bore out the existing screws. It took me an entire afternoon to install 6 screws because I didn't have the right size drill bit. You don't want that to happen to you. Oh, look at that. And even saying that, with the right bit, I sheared off a screw. Love it. For everybody who wants to know how you're going to fix that, Jeff, here we go. We're going to drill a second hole next to it. And hopefully this time it does what it's told to do. Now there's a possibility I might have missed that hole with the first screw. Maybe I was just drilling through the metal, I don't know. Nope. Something going on with the density of that material. It's just not receiving it. All right, welcome to Made in China. Here we go. The solution now, because I don't need that one to be very strong, is I'm gonna put a dab of clear silicone on there. I'm gonna set it in place, and then tomorrow I'll put on the decorative cap. Yeah, I know. You can tell me in the comment section what you think of that fix. Here's the door handle. You can see there's a little piece of clear plastic here. That goes in where the glass is. Right, we have a washer on both sides. So we don't actually have any metal making contact with the glass. And that just threads on like 100 times. So if this gets loose and falls off on you, you deserve it, because that's a ridiculous amount of threading. Always remove the stickers before use. When you get these hot, they just don't come off the same in the future. Now it's time to move on to the gaskets. That's going to be awesome. By the way, these little things here, they just go in these holes now that you don't need them. It's just so that you don't get soap scum buildup and that sort of thing. Here, let me just hammer that in. There we go. Good. And this one is actually really short. So if you wanted to use this, you got to grab a pair of side cutters and chop this way down. All right. That's what I'm going to do, because it always looks like hell over time. Getting all that dirt in there and you can't clean it up properly. Here we go. Just cut 2 little fins left, right? That's probably a lot. There we go. It's all about the details, right? Now we need to get the gaskets on and make sure that we're going to keep the water in. Now, yeah, we want the glass going like this, right up to the top of the hinge. You want to move your hands and press it in. Don't slide down to push it on. The amount of friction you're going to get, you're going to just cross a amount of heat. It's going to burn you instantly. And you're going to be like, thank you for saving me a good burn, Jeff. The fin goes on the interior of the shower, so it covers over the other glass, okay? Here we go. Now, let's double check, make sure that it covers the gap. Like a rock star. Okay. Next up, we have these 2 pieces that go together. And they have a little magnetic strip on them. And that's all you need to close the door. Apparently, we've got 1 piece that goes here. And then this one will go on the door. And then when you close, these 2 magnets will come together. So what we're looking at here is, now I'm going to make minor adjustments to the door to move the hinge pin to line this up where the magnet is actually making good contact with the bottom. It's close to the top, but we need to move this over a little bit more. That's not what I wanted to see happen here, but... Okay. There. Boom. That's all it is. There we go. So that's basically done. Now, that's awesome. So the only thing left to do here now, of course, is paint the bathroom, but relating to the shower is to put the sealant on, okay? And then I can put the trim kit on this shower and we're good to go. So I've got to seal the rail to the polystyrene, and I got to seal these 2 gaps. And I also like to seal along the bottom, just for good measure, right in this gap down here. Let's just push this in nice and tight against with that adhesive. Now remember, that's not the edge of the shower pan. It goes in and then up again, another 1/2 inch. So this is a water diversion system already like this. But if we get a small bead of sealant on there, that'll help make sure that this acts more like a waterproofing system. Obviously in this corner, we're not gonna get that. So it's up to you if you wanna put a sealant bead on there or not. For me, if I get shadows, because I'm a little out of level, I like to close the shadow up. So I'll put sealant here and up the side, and then down here, and then this way, and just leave that be. One on the inside of that corner, one on the inside of this corner. And that's a shower, baby. Because our joints are nice, we're gonna go the relatively small 45-degree angle. just big enough to get this puncture tube through here. Good to go. All right. All right, guys, and here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to put the sealant with my angle. I'm going to put it right there on the side. Okay, and then I'm going to gently snow plow it. Here we are. This takes patience. Not putting a lot of pressure in the caulking gun. I don't want to have to wipe it. Stuff's incredibly gummy, but I want to leave a good bead. All right, and if I see I'm starting to build up, I'll take it and I'll wipe it off. Get rid of the pressure. Start clean again. Okay, now if you're not comfortable with using the caulking gun like this, grab one of these bad boys, okay? Home Depot, in the paint department, it's for silicone. Okay, and just use that tip, and that makes a nice bead for you. All right, keep it clean, keep it handy, and if you need it, grab it. If you don't, then you don't. Let me just show you. I'm going to use the old technique where I lick my finger, and I'll show you the difference with the sealant. It doesn't react the same, okay? Just makes a bloody mess. All right? That's why I don't use it. I'd rather use the tool than my finger. And I don't want to wipe it all away. I want to leave it on there because this requires the deflection. You want that material there so that over time it doesn't crack. If you don't have enough material at this joint, it won't seal properly. That's done. All right, guys. We're going to install the shower system here now. Lots of parts going on. Couple of screws. Let's get that. That's the end of this assembly. This is all part of the water control measures. Now, right there, ish. Yep. Okay, like that. And call me crazy, but this is amazingly weird, isn't it? Okay, and then what happens is this will go over top of all of this assembly. That's the off position. I'm not going to show you because the water's on. And then when you turn this, because of all the threads, this is how you control. So this gets screwed in, and then we'll put the handle on. But first, we do need to put on the plate. And this should go over top of all of this assembly. All right, now this is the part of this job that's really weird. You try to line this up properly. You got mowing at the bottom. You know there's a screw over here a couple of inches in. You don't really know where. All right, so you got hand thread, just nice and gentle. If you think you found it, put a few threads on it and then pull it out. If it's holding on, you found it. You're gonna find where you think the hole is, nice and gentle, okay? If it doesn't go easy, you can be cross-threading it. All right, now that we know that we got it in the right spot, we're just gonna use our drill driver to drive it home. Goal is to get rid of any gap here, okay? Because that means that our gasket on the other side of this is totally engaged with the polystyrene. Okay, here we go. Now, a little bit more, we want to close this gap especially. Perfect, okay. Oh, oh, oh. When you're working in a shower, just a note, see that? That's a drain. Put your foot on it. You don't want to lose the screws. That is a lesson you learn the hard way. It's good to have a system, right? Now in this situation, I can't tell. I'm going to go on reverse. Boom, I heard that. We'll try that one more time. I'll go slower. Okay, that little locking noise, that's where the thread is actually joined. Then we can go in nice and slow, knowing that we got that. All right. Now the rest of that handle is going on here. Now this blue stripe is a little bit of Loctite, okay? So what it does is it goes up through here and doesn't do anything. It screws through this little plastic bracket, goes through that hole, and it actually screws into the metal thread on the top part here. So it passes through the whole assembly, all right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna set it on the long end. We're gonna set this where it goes. I'm gonna push this up through the hole, and we're just gonna go real gentle, make sure that we're in that thread. We don't wanna cross thread this on either. 1 second, let's back this out. I wonder if I put the other water assembly on backwards. Yeah, this all seems a little bit too chilly. A little loose. There we go, that's better. I'm just a little paranoid when I'm dealing with these parts, so I didn't drive it in enough. Whenever you're dealing with a mix of metal and plastic, you always run the risk of being too aggressive with the tools and then breaking something made of plastic. There we go, that's nice and controlled. All right, now it just works single function, just for the shower head. Now, I'm gonna paint this room, and then I'm gonna drill the hole, and then we'll stick in the faucet. But the next step for right now is we're going to take the sink and the toilet out of here because we are going to remove the flooring and the baseboards and the casing. It's time to prep for the new vinyl floor.